Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Tips and Tea Tuesday.
Yes, Queen. Happy Tips and Tea Tuesday to you.
Thanks, friend.
Wonderful, blessed morning.
Yes, I'm excited, excited, excited. It is Tuesday and we back in the building.
Let's go. And it's the last Tuesday of the month.
It is. We're closing out the month. It's the end of Women's History Month. I feel like we should have got 2 months.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. There's so many phenomenal women, and they just don't get enough. What's the word I'm looking for? Enough.
Recognition.
There you go. Thank you. See, that's why I love you. That's why you are my favorite co host ever. Dynamic duo.
Same, Queen. Right back at you. All right. And shout out to our Tips and Tea live audience. We already got some heavy hitters, some goal getters in the chat. I see Michelle Ramos, Monica Brown, Mr. Shabazz is already in the building. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, family. Happy Tips and Tea Tuesday.
Yes, I see. Oh, good morning, Devin. I see Devin is watching as well.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yep. So we're gonna dive right in. I know we usually give it a couple minutes to let people get in the building, but you know, Queen's got things to do. We on a tight schedule today.
Yes, ma'am. The Queen's got things to do. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. We definitely appreciate you joining the live this morning. We are so glad that you decided to start your morning with us. Whether you are joining us with your coffee, your tea, or getting ready to start your day, get your work day started, we definitely appreciate you being here with us. Tips and Tea, we air every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Central and 9 a.m. Eastern. We definitely share conversations about money, mindset, finances, and we're just so happy that you're here. We have real conversations and we want to welcome you in. If you know somebody that may need to hear this, please like and share the live. And I'm one of your co hosts, Teacher Booker. And as always, I'm here with the lovely, amazing, phenomenal Chantella Shabazz.
Well, thank you, Miss.
Oh, you're welcome, Queen. You are welcome, welcome, welcome.
Right back at y'all. Please drop some hearts in the chat for my amazing co-host, Mr. Teacher Booker. She's been rocking and rolling since we've been doing this thing for over it's almost 2 years now, coming up in May.
Yes, it is. 2 years. It just has flown by. It doesn't seem like it's been 2 years.
It doesn't. We're gonna have to do something special for the 2 year anniversary. We have to
Yes, we
come
will.
up with some ideas. You all drop some ideas in the chat what you want to see for the anniversary live in May. And come up with
Ooh.
some audience engagement. Maybe we bring back some of our favorite guest hosts too to come on the
Oh,
anniversary live.
yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Well, again, I just want to say good morning, especially to my co-host here, Mr. Teacher, and good morning, everybody. And thanks again for joining. And before we jump into today's conversation, I did just want to take a moment to remind everyone to go back and watch last week's episode. We definitely were highlighting again and celebrating Women's History Month, but focusing on empowerment, growth, and showing up at our best version of ourselves. Whether that was financially, mentally, spiritually, we've been doing a deep dive all month long. So last week, I definitely feel like it was a powerful reminder that as women, and we come together to support each other and grow together, there's nothing that we can't accomplish. All right. Gentlemen that's on the live, if you have a special lady in your life, send her the info for the lives. I think she'll definitely love what we have going on here and all the support that we have from our audience. So definitely want to give it back to you all because our lives audience is one of the best audience that's out there. They drop so many gems and tips themselves. Y'all are amazing. So we love you all. If you missed
Yes.
that episode, please feel free to go back and watch the replay. You can go on to YouTube on Tips and Tea Live, again, like Miss T mentioned. But we're going to transition right into what we're going to talk about today. Miss T, you want to let everyone know what the topic is today?
Of course. And, thank you, Chantella, for that wonderful recap. As we close out, Women's History Month, today's conversation is all about, it's not just about making money, it's about keeping it and growing it and also protecting it. Our topic is secure the bag and protect the bag. Smart money moves that every woman needs. Because the truth is, queens don't just secure the bag, we protect it. And today we're going to show you exactly how we're going to do that.
Absolutely. I'm definitely excited because we get to welcome in one of my sisters from a different mister. Let me put it like
Hey.
that. We've been knowing each other for so long. We go way back to grade school. So I'm not gonna reveal how old I am. Some of our live audience that's been with us for a while, they know. I haven't said it before, but today we're not saying it. So we go back to childhood with this one. And Kimberly is a branch manager for a large super regional bank. She's also the treasurer for her church, High Praise Ministries, and she's passionate about educating. Right, she's an educator who who loves to help people with budgeting, saving, understanding credit as well. Just overall financial literacy. So Kimberly will also be featured on ABC News, where she shared valuable insights on scams and fraud, which is running rampant nowadays. There's so much fraud going on right now, where she's helping individuals and families protect what they work so hard to try to build and to keep. Now she's also a dedicated mom of two of my god babies and incredible at just balancing her job, family, faith, and finances with grace and excellence. So, Kimberly, we just want to say thank you for taking your time to come to the live this morning, and we're going to welcome you in here. Welcome to Tips and Tea Live, Queen. Good morning. Good
Good morning.
morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you, wonderful ladies. Thank you so much for having me on. Satitra, just having to deal with Miss Chantella. I pray for you, ma'am. I pray for you
Oh,
because I
I
know,
am
I know what
lovable and fun size.
yes, you are, Queen.
But I love you guys and I thank you for this opportunity. As Chantella said, we go back to the playground. So I honor you, Chantella, for allowing me this opportunity to come and speak and just share my gift and insight with your audience. So yeah, I'm here. It's been a while. We've been planning for a while, but I'm finally here.
Now, we've been talking about this for what, since almost a year now. We've been trying to get her to come on the live. I'm like, look. You got so much insight. You got to come on here. You got to share. You can't be gatekeeping. We're not gatekeepers. None of my friends, family members, my business partners, we don't gatekeep. We always are willing to serve and to help. And she has such a major impact on her community. So I definitely wanted her to come on and just share all her knowledge and how to get us unstuck as well too. Because sometimes we get into planning mode and we don't take action behind it. And this is my one of my dearest friends that will come to me and tell me about myself and make sure I get to moving and not just talking. So if you need an action partner, not just an accountability partner, but an action partner, Miss Kim, she's the one. Miss Kimberly is the one. But I wanted you to also just talk about your why, right? Why you decided to, dedicate your your purpose, your life to serving, especially in the church, and how you built up a whole financial community there where you blended stewardship and faith and finances, and you teach at the church as well, and how you incorporate that with what you do in your day-to-day life with running a whole regional bank there. Um, if you could just share a little bit with the audience so they can get a little bit more of your background.
Absolutely. So I actually started in banking in 2008. I was just looking for a part-time job, and it happened to fit within my schedule. So I did that, and it was something to just, while you're in college, while I was in grad school, earn some money and some funds. But I started to lean more into it because anybody who knows me knows that I love sharing and talking with people and building relationships. That's what we do in banking. We're building relationships. So I leaned more into that, and that kind of became my career. And that, kept me going for a few years. But I hit a tough spot in my life where my faith had to really activate. And I had to lean more heavily into my relationship with God and build that relationship, and from that building, it actually blessed me into going further and higher into banking. And now I interweave, those two together. In that tough period of my life, I had to learn how to redo my finances and how to definitely, like the teacher said, secure the bag and make sure I was taking care of myself, as well as my two besties, my two little daughters. So in that, I was able to completely eliminate all the debt that I had, all the credit card debt that I have, as well as pay off my student loans. I did that on my own, with the help of God just leading me through that. So now I'm able to talk to people about like budgeting and how to come up with a debt strategy, how to get out of it, because it feels heavy. It feels like you're in despair. It feels like something that you want to sweep under the rug that no one wants to talk about. But I can say,
Mhm.
hey, I have a testimony. I've been there. I've conquered it and went on and kept moving. So that's where I come in to teach other people you can do it.
That is awesome and amazing being able to share your story and to help others. Because that is like a big hush hush. People don't like to talk about debt and don't like to talk about failing financially.
Mhm. Yeah, it can feel embarrassing, right? It can feel like the elephant in the room, but it's one of those things. It's like you just got to rip the cover off of that thing, and really shine some light on it. And by making a few changes in a few steps, you can take yourself out of that situation.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I think the one of the big problems is we don't want people in our business. As a community, it's very hush hush, keep things private. But you never know who might be able to help you because people go through things and they can actually help you with strategy. They can actually help you with resources, right, to help you get out of these that situations. So we have to learn to be more vocal and raise our hand and actually ask for help. And I love what you do as far as she, she be interrogating you and you don't even know she interrogating you. Well, she's gonna get to the bottom of what's happening, what's actually going on with your credit, with your finances, everything, and she's gonna come up with a budgeted plan. Okay, well, you said this is your goal. We're gonna help you get there. This is how you need to do it. But just want to ask you too, because I know you see a lot with working in the banking industry. What's some of the biggest money mistakes that you've seen people making when it comes to managing their finances?
So the ones that really stand out, like right now, we're at the end of the third quarter, right? So we're ending March and we're coming into April. If you don't have a budget by now, you're behind the eight ball. And we always say, hey, it's not how you finish, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But with
Mhm.
something as important as budgeting, you have to have a handle on it. Like at the beginning of the year, every penny counts, every dollar counts, and you have to purpose your money. So that's a big pitfall, not having a budget that you follow, not just yearly, but I mean, break that thing down semi-annual, monthly, daily, weekly. When I was striving to pay off my student loans, I was looking at those loans, if not daily, definitely weekly and monthly, to see the impact that I was making. And it was giving me fuel to do more and to go deeper with it. The other pitfalls can be erroneous spending. So, Starbucks, all the, Dunkin', all those things that we love. With that budget, that's going to help you keep those things in check. Sometimes you have to discipline yourself. You have to discipline your mind, your spirit, and that wallet, so that you don't make a bunch of purchases where you're just really kind of blowing your whole salary. So that covers, like, eating out and stuff like that. Also, your internet purchases, keeping up with your, not only your streaming devices, how many devices you have that you're paying for in streaming, um, but how many, how often is Amazon, pulling up to the house? Is it needed? Look, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Is it a want or a need? And sometimes you have to, like I said before, place that discipline on yourself to say, look, what is it that I'm looking to accomplish? And is that coffee worth losing what I'm trying to accomplish? And you set that goal. Is it a house? Is it a vacation? Is it a vehicle? You set that before you so that you know that that's what you're working towards. And when you cheat yourself, you feel that. You feel that and know, okay, one more coffee, I'm less closer to my vehicle. And the last one I would say, the the bills that you have to pay, take a look at those. So when it comes to like your internet and cable, I've looked at, some of people's statements and purchases for things like that. And those bills have gotten out of control. They're almost like a car note. And when you think about it, how much time are you actually watching, whatever you're paying for? So take a look in some of those things right there, in the groceries that you're spending, where are you shopping for groceries, all of those things.
Those are definitely all good points to consider and all things to look at. Sometimes I guess you just have to say what discipline over desire. If you have a desire to reach a goal, then you have to let certain things go.
Absolutely.
So, Kim, when you hear the term secure the bag and protect the bag, what does that mean to you personally?
um, for me, it means home. Okay, so you look at your house, or your establishment where you lay your head as your
Mhm.
place of peace. When
Yes.
you talk about securing the bag, it's a direct connection to where it is that you lay your head. If you don't handle your finances and everything correctly, you're putting in jeopardy where your security is. So it really takes up, lining up the finances to make sure that you account for all the funds that you have and you purpose them, to make sure that you're putting extra money aside, to make sure that you have something not only for you, but to pass on, to other generations. I'm not going to cover my age because it's going to cover her age too. We're close in age. But I like to think now at our age, we have more years behind us than we have in front of us. We're getting to those, those auntie years. And it's very important to look at the next generation and say, okay, at this point, what am I passing on to this next generation? What am I, empowering them with? What traits am I giving them? And that even comes with, how you spend and how you save. You can look at a 2-year-old and show them a logo of McDonald's and they know what it is, but do they know what it is to save? So what are you passing on to the next generations to make sure the bag stays secure, not only for this generation, but the next generations to come?
Oh yeah, I like that. Secure that bag.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't know what you're talking about. I was auntie 5 years ago.
I don't know about, I just hit my auntie years. That's you.
But no, I love that. And then you also mentioned earlier that every dollar needs to have an assignment. And I just want to send a reminder out to the audience. So, for those who just joined into the live, we're here speaking with Miss Kimberly Lee. She is a branch manager for one of a very large super regional bank. She's also a financial admin for her church, High Praise Ministries, which is located in Indiana there. So if you have any questions that you want to ask Ms. Kimberly, you can start dropping them in the chat. And we are going to try to get to as many questions as possible. If you want a question answer for her, just go ahead and start dropping those in the chat. But what you said about every dollar having an assignment and how, if you don't give that dollar a job, what are you pulling away from? Right? What goal are you not going to meet because you didn't assign that dollar a job, a role to do. And we have to keep remembering that money is a tool, everybody. And if you don't give it direction, you're going to end up losing it. It's just going to go anywhere. So I love that, friend. And thank you for bringing that up. I did also want to just check in with you as well about, you recently had some big fraud and some scam like activities going on with one of your clients, one of your customers, and we see that is running rampant. I just declined like 10 scam calls yesterday on my phone. Someone was trying to get me to sign up for Illinois toll and pay a bill, and I'm like, I don't even have a toll account anymore. So I know you've spoken about scams and fraud in the past, but what are some of the most common scams that people are encountering that you believe they should really be made aware of?
I mean, it has just gotten just so aggressive and it's grown exponentially. You definitely want to be careful and be leery of anywhere you use your debit card. Um, Anywhere, like if you're making purchases on the internet or even in person, there's scamming devices on everything. You really want to make sure you have alerts set up to where it is like notifying you of any purchases that are not made in person. That's huge. A lot of banks offer some kind of alert for an online or not in person transaction. Those are typically ones that you would see that you would flag as fraud. As well as just being careful and making sure you review your statements, whether it's on any mobile app or on online banking or as they're coming in paper. A lot of times when people have fraud, it's been happening for a while and sometimes they miss it. I use my credit card for everything just as a layer of protection. Sometimes when fraud happens on your debit card and it's not caught, you're out of the cash for a while and you have to wait for your bank to reimburse you. So using that credit card just gives you a layer of protection, with that, especially when you're shopping online, because some of that information can be saved and be stored. Also being leery of, any phone calls that you get. A lot of times they want to display a sense of urgency. You have to do this. If you don't do this, this is going to happen. And it's very aggressive and almost in a threatening manner. I would always say to have patience in any situation. If you need to, tell them I will refer, to my local bank, go ahead and do that. Or if you need to refer to your local police department, go ahead and do that. They make it seem like this is something that you have to do right now at this very moment, or there's these negative consequences. They also have scams that involve like family, I'll hang up and call your family. If you can't get to them, call somebody else who knows them. And then the most vulnerable are our seniors. We
Yes.
want to check in with them and talk to them and make sure they know and understand. There's so many things that have changed, especially with like the insurance and Medicare and stuff like that. Make sure they know, the Social Security is not going to call them and ask them for their account numbers or anything like that over the phone. And just make sure someone's checking in with the seniors, because a lot of times they do get scammed because they are the most vulnerable, but they can feel a little bit embarrassed by it, right? So if you're checking in with them on a regular basis, you can stop them from potentially getting frauded out of thousands and thousands of dollars. A lot of times it goes on for a while because there's no one really checking. So check on your seniors, and talk with them and let them know of the different scams that are out there.
That is really good information. There are so many different scams that are going on now, and it's really gotten out of control, from the tolls to housing fraud, all kinds of things. But if you run into someone that feels like they have been scammed or notices suspicious activity, like, what do you think, or what would be the steps that they would follow to rectify that?
To immediately make contact with, whether it's a credit card company or their bank. Immediately make contact with them and just, be honest. Let them know everything that shared. If
Mhm.
everything that's been shared, we can figure out what it is we need to sew up, right? What it is we need to change, block, and like really seal up so that we can stop any fraudsters from having access. And don't approach them in a way that they feel ashamed or embarrassed of what they've done. It can happen to anyone. I've seen all ages, even as young as the newer little customers, first starting out with their new accounts. Making them aware of the different scams, because they are, once again, vulnerable. They don't know banking yet, so just keeping a close eye on them as well.
Absolutely. That's some really great information. Make sure you all freeze your credit as well. If you have a credit monitoring service, I know that you all can go through your monitoring service and put a freeze on your credit, or you can go to the bureaus individually to freeze. But yeah, really great information, Queen. Thank you so much for just sharing how we can take some preemptive steps. And I like what you said about check on your people.
Yes.
You have to check on
Just
them.
don't have them out here by themselves, weeding through the wilderness alone. We are a community. Check on your people. Make sure that you know what they have going on because things be happening for months
And
Hmm.
sometimes.
sometimes they're already lonely. As you get older, you're dealing with different, stages of grief. And sometimes they'll call the fraudsters and they'll just start talking and they'll just make a conversation and they'll build a relationship. And they won't start asking for money up front. They'll just start building a connection so that when they do start asking for money, it seems innocent. And
Hmm.
they've already built that relationship. So,
Mhm.
especially the ones that, have experienced some loss and stuff like that. Is it
Yeah, and then to our seniors that might be on the call, don't be shy. Don't feel like you're bothering your kids or your family members or your friends. If you suspect something's not right, what my parents do is that they take a screenshot or they forward it to me in a message. Say, hey, what do you think about this message? Is this suspicious? And I'd be like, yes, do not click the link. Immediately, immediately I respond, yes, because honestly,
Don't do it. Don't click
don't
that.
do it. Do not pass go. Don't press that button. So I'd rather you send that to me so we can be preemptive because it's quicker for me
absolutely?
to say no versus okay, now we got to go to the police station, file a police report. We need to contact your card company or your bank, file a,
Yeah.
file a report there. We need to freeze your credit. There's a lot of different steps we got to take to give you protection after the fraud has already happened versus if we can get in front of it. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And I kind of want to just check with the audience again and let them know if you have any questions for Kim. Feel free to start dropping it in the chat. I do want to go back a little bit, friend, because you dropped a gem about how earlier you tackled some student loan debt, right? And I know that's hitting everybody hard right now. You know, we didn't mention that we was going to talk about this, but you said it. So now we got to roll back to it when you talk about the student loans. And we got to hear what your strategy actually was and how you approached it, because people thought the student loans was gone and the government was like,
yeah,
we're rolling it back.
So like I said, it was something that I had been just paying for a long time. And I knew with the purchases that I had coming up, I couldn't handle, the loans and the other things that I was looking at. So I'm like, I have to get rid of them. And I had a few different student loans from back when I first started school to some other ones that were in grad school. But the main thing is just really starting to look at them, look at the balances of them, look at the interest rates of them. A lot of times they're broken apart into different loans. My loans at the time were they were with Sallie Mae. And I think they switched to Navient afterwards. But what I noticed when they sent me the bill, they took and they lumped all the payments together and they said, hey, pay this. And I'm like, okay. But I was watching online. You can have online access, and I recommend you get it with those loans. And none of the loans were really moving with the payment that I was making. It was still a good size payment, but the way that they were applying the loans, I'm like, I am going to be paying this forever. So what I did was reach out to the company and kind of break up the loans so that they did not apply my payment in a blanket fashion. It allowed me to make my payment and pay each loan individually. I'm a big fan of the snowball method. And with that, it's one of the Ramsey methods to get out of debt. And with that, I was able to target my smallest loan. I didn't look really at the interest rates. I looked at the balances of the loan, and I was able to target one loan. I paid the minimum on all the others, and that helped me just tremendously. Typically, when people are going to pay off debt, they pay extra on everything. They throw an extra $5, $10 on every debt that they have, but I was able to just pay the minimum on all the other loans and take the smallest one, pay that, and put extra on that one. So what happened was, every few months or every year, I was paying off a loan. Right. So the amount of loans got smaller and smaller and smaller until I was just left with one loan that I had to tackle. And I was able to throw everything, all the extra money on that one loan. And I just got rid of them, process of elimination, one by one.
Hey, please drop some gems in the chat. She just came in here and lit the place on fire with this method on how to pay down your student loans, because a lot of people don't know that. They don't know if they've lumped them together and you just paying a blanket amount on these things. You're not even really tackling that much on the interest, right? You're not really tackling that much on the principal. So I like what you said with making sure that you're intentional with how you're approaching the payment on your student loans. That snowball effect is definitely very effective when it comes to paying down debt. Of course, there's different methods, but you do have to find which method works for you. It's the avalanche method. Some people pay multiple at a time, but as long as you have a strategy, that's the key. It's coming with the strategy and then actually moving forward with it, right? So I do, go ahead.
I want to tie back to what we were first talking about when we were talking about budgeting and those extra coffees, those Starbucks and all the extra money that's floating around there. when you take that money and target it towards the thing that you're trying to get rid of, that's when you start making major movement. That extra 20, 30, $50 a week that you're spending, eating out, or, whatever it is that you're doing, you put it towards those student loans, or you put it towards, paying off one of your smaller credit cards. Now you got action.
Yes, ma'am. I love that. I love that because I was a Starbucks girl for a while and I had to cut back on it. But I had an awesome accountability partner, with Chantella. So it definitely, I saw the error of my ways because I was spending, about $65 a week on Starbucks. And that was too much. That money needed to go somewhere else.
Absolutely, yeah. And I was the go-go gadget queen. I was on the TikTok shop. I was on Amazon.
Yes, ma'am.
I love my gadgets. That cheese grater that sticks to the counter and it don't move and you ain't gonna slice up my fingers. Give me that. Give me 3 of them. One in every color I like.
And that's also where faith comes into it as well. You have to get in full alignment when you start, praying for something, and when you want to see change in something and you're praying for it. Then as well, you're connecting, all the dots, and that's where faith really comes in, to the picture. And you never know, a side hustle might be there to help you produce some extra money,
Right.
and you just activate that faith and let it, align with what it is you need to do.
Absolutely. What would you recommend for people that, they started, they want to save, but they don't know where to start because they feel as though they don't have the income to even start saving?
Um, so they always say you pay everybody else, but you forget to pay yourself. You pay every bill that you got, but you don't pay yourself. I'm very passionate about just different things. And one of the things I'm passionate about is the Hurricane Katrina. That was something that was just baffling to me that I didn't understand. But in watching the documentaries, one of the things that stood out to me from a financial standpoint is that some people didn't have the finances to get out of the way of the storm when they realized that it was coming. And how often do we do that to ourselves, where we live paycheck to paycheck and we
Mhm.
say nothing extra? So if you have an emergency that happens, can get yourself where it is that you need to be? Do you have your credit together so that you can get yourself to where you need to be? And that was just a major disaster, and something that just hurts my heart. But I use that as well as talking about COVID. COVID was something that was real. I was in the banking center when that happened, and sometimes people's job just stopped. You just, hey, don't come in until we kind of get this figured out. And that lingered for a while. If you didn't have a savings plan in place to kind of float you for a while, you started that real, it was real tough right off the beginning. So I always tell people, you don't have to start big. A lot of times people try to save too aggressively, and that's where they end up failing. They
Mm.
start trying to put aside $100, $50. If you haven't saved that in all the time, why would you start so aggressive now? When someone's going to train for a marathon, they don't go, start running marathons immediately. No, you work up to that. So I always encourage people to start very small, very small. Something that you would typically spend for lunch without a blink of an eye, $5. You should have a auto pay set that coincides with any direct deposit or normal deposits that you make, and automatically move money from your checking to your savings. If you don't have a savings, you need to have one. If you need a bank account, come see me. I can help with that. But have money set to go from checking to savings. And then once you created the behavior, then you can start to increase that amount to where that money starts building. So when something happens, when something hits the fan, you have some money saved, or you can use that to grab that, going back to the bag. You got to have a bag there to begin with to secure anything. You have
Right.
something to go in and grab to take care of home.
Yep, you gotta have a bag to secure in the first place. You better tell them.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, just starting small. Like, I love what you said, as far as what you were spending on lunch, or, just $5 here, $10 there. Just like you said, it's not how you finish, or excuse me, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So just starting it, creating that system to go forward with saving a little here, saving a little there. And then once you get comfortable with that, then it's not going to bother you to put $50 aside, $100 aside. But just simply starting is what the first step.
You got to get in, you got to step in the water. You got to get in to begin with. And sometimes it's our habits, right? Sometimes it's out of just depression. Sometimes
Mhm.
it's out of, just not handling the things that we need to handle, even mentally or spiritually. So we go to spending. I'm going to have a self-care day or a girls' day or some kind of day where I'm not thinking about what it is I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm using, um, the retail therapy besides going to get, some real therapy that you may need. So, being around like-minded women like yourselves, just amazing women that are able to be there with you to, drop some gems, as well as to connect with you, maybe on a spiritual level to say, hey, sis, you might need to, look at things a little bit differently, and that's why you're ending up in the financial situation that you were in.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. I like that. Instead of going out and having a shopping date with your girlfriend, how about, hey, you come over, we cook together, and we go over this budget. You can help me run through my budget together. Plan them type of dates with your friends.
Or come meet me at church. Come pull up at HP Nation. Pull up at High Praise. We'll get an apostle and lady to get you together, lay some hands on you.
Oh yeah, Apostle
Ma'am.
Letty don't play. She didn't have me pull up at the church a couple times over the years.
I mean, I love them. They are, spiritual parents and mentors of mine. Apostle Javon Blakely, and Pastor Felicia Blakely. Just under their guidance, like I said, I went through one of the toughest times in my life, and just them being there with me, praying for me, and just being there to check on the girls and make sure everything that was happening with us, were kosher. They've been my rock. They've been right there by my side, pushing me, yelling at me, and getting me together. So I'm excited, and I sincerely hope that people have, spiritual leaders like them that they can really, just talk to, and just get out, some of the things that they need to get out.
Yes, ma'am. That definitely can make a big difference when you have someone that you can talk to, someone that you can strategize with, and someone that can help you and pour into you. Um, Kim, what do you think some simple budgeting strategies that actually work for busy women and families would be?
So the first step is being honest with yourself.
Hmm.
As busy as you are, you still, you have to be honest with yourself and, really look, do you want where you are and what you're doing to continue? Um, and if you want to see change there, you have to make change. You have to be the change. That's when, even if you're praying for change, you have to put that prayer and that action together, right? And to really look at what it is that you want to change, to set a goal, and then see what it's going to take to really achieve that goal. If you say, I want to, buy a vehicle or move or purchase a car, whatever it is, you set that, before you. And then you look at everything that's in the way, everything that's stopping you from accomplishing that goal. And that's, once again, by being honest with yourself. Let's look
Hmm.
at the last 3 months of your bank statements and let's see where the money's been going and what can be shifted. And the point of looking at the statements is not necessarily to, shame yourself, but to
Hmm.
say, okay, where can I make movement? A lot of times when I review people's bank statements, you can shake loose a good $500 just by changing some of the things that you're doing and putting that towards your goal.
Yes, ma'am. I know earlier, Shantella had mentioned, you doing some interrogation with customers to, find out where they are. But hey, that is purposeful interrogation. There is a reason behind it, and you're coming with a solution. So sometimes you do have to make those hard decisions, or put your things out there to see, to take a look. Oh well, yeah, Amazon is getting a little too much of my money. Starbucks is getting a little too much of my money, because just like Starbucks has a good cup of coffee, you can make a good cup of coffee at home for free.
And you got to think about what is the business plan of Starbucks. The business plan of Starbucks is to get your money.
Right.
So you have to what you need to do to make sure your money, stays home, with you. And it's not, sometimes you don't have to cut everything out, but you may have to eliminate some things, for a while. Sometimes we have emotional connections to things like, oh, I have to have, my HBO, or I have to have, my Comcast. Okay. Which one is more important, having a roof over your head, or the Comcast? And
Right.
sometimes you have to have those real life situations with people, because unfortunately the cost of everything has gone up. Car insurance, homeowners insurance, groceries, gas, everything has gone up. And people who were barely making it and struggling have really hit some hard times. So just looking to see what can be cut out, and even if it's temporarily, what can you do to shake some extra money loose and make some changes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, them expenses going up, but them paychecks aren't increasing. All right,
Yep.
so we definitely
That's
have to
side hustle comes in.
strategy.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Starting your
Yeah,
business, having something, that extra stream of income, we all need that now.
yes, it
Absolutely.
is. So I wanted to ask you too, because we kind of talk about how you had some debt that you first started out with, and you had to come and approach that and really tackle it. So what's one major financial lesson, if you say, that you learned that you wish you would have known earlier in your life? Because
Oh,
hindsight is 2020.
Yes, it is.
honestly, and I try to talk with every young adult that I encounter, and I tell them, because a lot of times they start with their little jobs and their summer jobs. Um, I encourage them to save early, to get the mentality of savings down early. Both
Mhm.
of goddaughters have savings accounts, and they know any money that you're getting, there's gonna be a split, and there's a portion of that is going towards savings, because that will help you um, to create that habit. So as you get earlier, it's already ingrained in you to
Mhm.
save, save, save. There should never be a time in your life that you are having some focus on savings. So
Mhm.
definitely be safe, safe, safe.
Yes, ma'am. That's some good information. Got to start young and get those savings accounts going. Kim, what would you say is one money habit that you had to break to become the woman that you are today?
So anyone who knows me, and even my daughters there, we are some foodies. We love to eat. We love to try different foods and try different experiences, to experience different, cuisines from different cultures.
Hmm.
And that can get a little expensive.
Yes.
So just being mindful of what season it is that you're in. If you're in a season where, you're paying off debt, and you're trying to reduce debt, even the children know, like, hey, okay, right now we're focused on, preparing for spring break or preparing for summer break. So we are going to, really limit eating out. And you can make that something that brings the family together. If you like um, New Orleans food, um, look up some different recipes and, learn some of those cuisines that you love. I ended up discovering gumbo that way. Between that and Chantella's mom, she made some awesome gumbo. She made it for us. And I love having that at restaurants. But I'm like, man, this is, expensive. So I taught myself just by some different recipes, and I tweak it until I'm pretty surgical with my gumbo now. But that even became something that I did with my girls. So, they know and they're a part of making gumbo. So, when you're talking about securing the bag, that's something else that, they can potentially pass on. How many times do people have the story of, hey, I started this business because of something my grandmother taught me or something that my mother taught me? So you never know. You could be securing something for generations to come. That's honestly how we got started with London's Tea. My 14-year-old daughter has a tea business. It's called Fusion. And my mother, she would always make drinks for us in the house. So as her school project, she needed a business, and we just ended up with tea. And it's grown past the school project. And it is a functioning business that keeps me busy. It keeps me running. But it all started from, that idea or that thing that my mom said.
Yes, I love that. And I want my gallons. We already had this conversation last night.
I got a bottle. I'll ship it to you.
Tariffs cost too much. I'm coming back at noon. Just have my tea ready.
Absolutely.
Well, I love what you said about how open and honest you are with your children. I think sometimes we feel like we have to protect them and we can't be honest about financially what we have going on, but this is how we need to start teaching them, right? We can start teaching them about money, teaching them about budgeting, teaching them about alternatives because they're like sponges, right? When they're younger. So they're soaking in these money habits and they're learning by watching you, not just talking about what you're saying, but actually
Absolutely.
watching you and seeing how you're managing life. So if you're like, hey, we got summer break coming up and we know we're gonna be wanting to do a lot of activities, let's start cutting expenses now. We're gonna start cooking at home now more versus going out to eat. This is something that you're instilling in them good habits, great money habits that they're gonna take with them throughout their life and teach their children. And this is how you start building generational wealth is with good habits, right? This is
And
how we
secure
keep.
the bag for the generations.
Yes, yes. I love that. I love that. Well, we're gonna do a quick lightning round real quick. We don't have any questions in the chat. So we're gonna keep this light and fun real quick. So I just want to ask, okay, are you a saver or a spender? I think we kind of already know the answer to this, or a little bit of both.
I am a little bit of both, but it
And
changes depending on the season.
Yes, yes. Okay.
It's
Okay. What's
fun.
one thing you spend money on that you said I probably didn't need to do that?
It I would say it would be something regarding food. I'm big on having my girls experience and taste a lot of different things. And I just got them some nothing but cakes over the weekend.
Oh, those are so good.
They have a new flavor, Divine Chocolate. And
Don't tell
I
me.
know what they like, so just so they can experience it, but you have to like balance that out with okay, it's saving time and stuff like that, but just giving them some little tidbits and treats here and there.
Gotcha. So, coffee or cash? Like, are you treating yourself daily or are you saving that money?
Um, if I have to choose between coffee and cash, it'll definitely be cash because I love the smell of coffee, but I do not like it. The taste is so bitter for me. So I'm all in with the tea. I love hot tea. I love cold tea. And tea has some, extra benefits even for your health. So there's a lot of different things. Like I said, we're getting older, so things that you have to do to take care of your body. So I'm all into tea, and my mom was a big tea drinker as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. If you could give your younger self one money tip, what would it be?
Girl, save. Stop spending money. Save. Save.
Yes, ma'am. Save that money.
I used to spend money like, my mom always told me money burns your hand. Like I just had to go buy something. And I went through a lot of money during summer jobs that I didn't need to use. I could have put even half of that away, and I could have made some smarter money moves as I got older.
Yes,
Mhm.
ma'am.
Yeah, well, I remember us going to the shopping for baby fat back in the day.
I
Same.
had baby fat everything. Um, and just looking at those things that you did and instilling it in an early age in the kids, like, okay, what's the difference between a baby fat shirt and a regular shirt? And I bought all those clothes after about 3 years. None of that stuff fit anyway, but just instilling the lessons that you learned. A lot of times we learn these lessons and we try to keep them to ourselves. No, give that knowledge to the younger ones so that they know what it is that they need to be looking for and the pitfalls that they can hit.
Right. Yes, ma'am. I
Yes,
think
I
we
know.
all did a lot of spending while we were younger, trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yes.
Ooh. Whew. I didn't even know who the
And
Joneses was. I'm like, why? Why am I doing this?
that retail therapy, the kids learn that too. You don't feel good, so let's go shopping. Let's go do something to take our mind, off of whatever we're feeling. Um, and you have to deal with whatever it is that you're feeling, so that it doesn't bleed into other situations in your life and you look up and everything's on fire, because you haven't dealt with yourself.
Right.
Mhm. I felt like we were brainwashed back then because it was in the movies. It was shows. You get sad, you get depressed, you go shopping at the mall.
It
Yes.
was literally
That's your
that's literally
mind.
seen to multiple 90s movies. You go get a credit card and then you saw the girl sad and then all you saw was her walking in the mall, and the next time you saw her she had all kinds of bags in her
Thanks.
hands. Yeah.
We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. Well, we gotta start wrapping things up because man, this time just flew by. It was so many gems dropped. I want to thank you again, Fran, for just coming in and pouring into the audience today. Is there anything that you want to share? I know we talked about last night. Um, you guys have an event coming up where you're going to be helping each other, just pouring to each other and support each other. You want to give us more details about the upcoming events you have coming up with High Praise and some of the women's groups that you're a part of?
Absolutely. So the first one, I mentioned my dynamic pastor, Felicia Blakely, and we will have our Girls Get Up Women Conference approaching this year. We're so excited about it. It gets bigger and better every year. Go to the Girl Get Up page on Facebook, as well as you can go to FeliciaBlakelyMinistries.com, and they'll have more information about the women's conference. I've gone every year, and I get something new out of it every year. The speakers are just there to really pour into the woman. We've got different panels and stuff. So even one year, our Chantella Garrett Chavez was a panelist there. So you can speak to just how great and how life changing it was. So you definitely want to, be in the room for that, as well as coming really soon in May. My sister, one of my very close friends, Renona Wallace, she has a program that we kind of sat together and created. We were having just a conversation about, grief. One of the things we talked about was how grief can, change how it is you're doing different things in your life. And we both had experienced the loss of our mothers. And we were talking about the impact of that. And with that, um, she said, "Hey, we got to do something. We got to get together." And she was able to create a foundation called DD4L. Both of our mothers' names start with the letter D. So it's Darla's Daughters for Life, or Diana's Daughters for Life. And we're up to the fourth annual Motherless Mother's Day luncheon. Anybody who's ever experienced the loss of their mother knows that Mother's Day is a day that you just want to get under the couch, under the bed. And with this event, I do not feel like that anymore. You feel like you want to go out and not, feel sad or grieve, but celebrate the woman that your mother was. So, like I said, every year it gets bigger and better. And right now we're looking for sponsorship. There's actually a Facebook page that has been created. It's the DD4L Darla's Daughters for Life Foundation. And on that page, you can get information for sponsorship. What I love about the event, it is 100% free. There's no cost to it. You just come and just pour out and be around like-minded women who understand what it is that you're going through, because it's heavy. Oh my gosh, it is so heavy. There's days where you don't want to even get out the bed, but to be next to your sister, to lock arms with your sister and say, I got you, I understand, I'm here with you. That was one of the ways I was able to get through that. And the Bible says, okay, once you've been strengthened, you go back and strengthen your brother. So I'm extremely proud of Renona and this foundation that she made. And I didn't realize that it was also through the help of our wonderful Chantella Garrett. Anybody that needs any like business help or support, please reach out to her. She's helped multiple people. Just really great with that. But the registration is opening April 1st. So definitely get to that page so that you can look up more of that information. And then also any sponsors that, say, hey, I like that idea. I want to support, I want to get behind it. You can get information for how to sponsor on that information.
Yes, love that. And we got to get Renona on this live. I'm going to reach out to her separately so she can talk more about the event, what her vision is for it coming up. And if anyone's interested in being a part of these events, definitely feel free to just drop that in the chat. We'll make sure your information gets over to Kimberly or Renona, especially for if you are in the Indiana, Chicago, maybe Wisconsin, Michigan area where you're close by. Hey, if you want to catch a flight, I know some queens that like to catch flights. These are coming up to be held in Indiana.
Yeah, I believe our location will be in Hammond, so it's not very far into Indiana. You're right there, close enough on the border. So I would say if you're interested, definitely register because I know that this will be an event that we're going to hit max capacity because every year there's just such good feedback and response from it.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Fran. I definitely appreciate you coming on here and just sharing so much. You even she gave us things to do, things to look at, things to work on. Give your dollar some assignments. Did you all take your notes? Did you have your pads and your pens ready? If you didn't, now you got to go back and you got to watch this live again because it was just too good for you not to have picked up something from this live. And for our audience, drop in the chat what you're working on, whether you're saving more, you're trying to fix your credit, if you're paying off debt, starting a business, even if you're learning how to protect your money, right? Maybe that's what season you're in. You're learning how to protect it now that you secured the bag. Now you need to protect the money, right? Getting the insurance plan, setting up the trust, right? Making sure, we talked about this before with my friend Kim, putting your beneficiaries on your account, naming.
Yes.
That's
a whole nother chat. There's so many important financial things that you have to look out for, and just prepare for. Just preparing after you made the bag and put money in the bag and secured the bag. Who's the bag legacy going to? There's so many different things. But I'm grateful that there's someone like you who can drop these tips with a little bit of tea, so that people can know what it is they're supposed to be doing. And that's when financial literacy comes into play. Very passionate thing of mine. If there's anyone who wants to reach out to me, you can find me on Facebook. You can also email me as well. And I'm very open to discussing anybody's financial situations. No judgment. We've all come from multiple different credit scores, different walks of life. There is no judgment. So reach out if you need.
Yes, and we have some queens in the chat already dropping assign your money. This was so good. Things are starting to get better. Start securing the bag. She loved it. So great job, friend. You got the audience on fire here, paying off debt. Also creating a budget this season. So we putting in the work. You see, we putting in the work just based off what you said.
And also when paying off debt and keeping your credit lifted, just be careful and reach out to a financial strategist, because there's even a strategy when paying off debt to make sure that you're keeping trade lines open and you're not dropping too many trade lines at once. There's so many things that come into play.
Absolutely. Well, I know you got to run because she's, she got to jump in. She got to go run that bank, everybody. So she got things to do. So I just want to say thank you again, Frank, for joining us this morning, jumping on this live. We're going to say goodbye to you because we know you got to go. But love you big again. And put it out there. See Kim on around too. Drop some hearts in the chat. Drop some hearts in the chat. Y'all want to see Kim come back for a round too.
Love you lots. Amazing what it is that you're doing, and what you have created. I think that's an amazing thing for women. So bless you. Thank you for what it is that you do. And next time you need me, just give me a call. I'm not that far away.
Okay, y'all heard her right. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Thank you. Thank you. Love you big, girl.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on the live this morning and just supporting Tips and Tea. I know the teacher had to go as well because I told you the queens got things to do, and unfortunately, we gotta keep working. We gotta keep securing the bag. We gotta fund the bag so we can secure it. So for anyone who's still on, just wanted to let you know we do have a special Women's History Month promotion going on where we're putting out free financial analysis. So we're gonna take a look at your finances, see where we need to help you with structure and strategy. And then we're also, if you are in the need of some credit services for our ladies out there, we're offering the $50 off the credit repair services. So we want to help you get started and fix that credit. So we're not just going to talk about it anymore. We're going to be about it. And for those who are looking to set up an LLC, get that business going, we are offering a free guided LLC setup for you. Only thing that you have to do is pay your state filing fee, but we're going to be there to guide you along every step of the way when it comes to filing that application. All right. And if you're ready to get these things going, please drop ready in the comments and we'll make sure we'll reach out to you directly. But today definitely was powerful. We didn't just talk about money, everybody. We talked about keeping it, protecting it, and building with it. So again, I just want to say thank you to Ms. Kim for joining and sharing her knowledge with our audience. We definitely appreciate every gem that she dropped on the live this morning. And I know C is not here right now. She's our affirmation queen. So I'm just going to read into the affirmation that she has brought up for us. Here it is. So I am a wise steward over everything God places in my hands. My money is protected, my knowledge is growing, and my legacy is secure. All right. I am a wise steward over everything God places in my hands. My money is protected, my knowledge is growing, and my legacy is secure. And if you want to pair that with a scripture today, everyone, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. That's Proverbs 21:5. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in to Tips and Tea this morning. We look forward to seeing you all next week. I think I'm going to gatekeep what we're going to talk about. Just stay tuned. We'll start dropping clues all this upcoming week about what we're going to bring special for next week. So love you all. Many blessings, everybody. We'll see you next week.